Yeah, so we took off Sunday and Monday, gave them 2 full 48-hour days off. Guys came in and got treatment, but no basketball. We'll practice today, about an hour. We'll do some shooting, work on some offense and defensive things. Some situational day really is what today is, and then really get into Milwaukee Wednesday, and then we leave Thursday. So. I think this time of year, we're one of the only sports that kind of goes for 6 months straight. Really get about 4 off days in a row. So anytime you can get consecutive off days, I think for your guys, just mentally and physically, it's really good.
And obviously Brett has been a player who's been able to provide a spark for you guys in many ways this season. He's had a bunch of high scoring output games, a bunch of 20-point games, especially like 3 times in the last 4 games as well. What does he kind of brought for you guys?
Yeah, he can play with the basketball in his hands out of pick and rolls. He can play in isolations. We can play him off the ball. So some versatility, whether he plays the point or a combo guard for us, has a knack for scoring the basketball. Will take and make some big shots, fearless at getting to the rim, plays in transition, really forces tempo, good on-ball defender. Pressuring the basketball, good body, physical. He's brought a lot to us.
He also kind of has that very much aggressive mentality, especially when he has the ball in his hands. He wants to, get to the rim. Even if things want to slow down, he wants to attack, get to the basket. What are kind of the pros and cons of, having that kind of,
Yeah, we had a kid a few years back, Darius Quisenberry. Similar type of games. I think it's just really about reading defenses, like guard play and, really any of those 5 positions on the court, Neil, is about making the right play based on what the defense, kind of throws at you, whether it's, if it's a pick and roll, is the guy, is the forward back, is he blitzing you? Our whole thing is when you got 2 on you, you got to pass the ball. So if you see 2 bodies on you, you got to pass. We want to find, create, keep advantages offensively. We haven't done as good as enough job the last really 3 to 4 weeks, or 3 to 4 games, I'm sorry, in that category. I think when you get late in the year, guys really want to, they want to do well. It's not that our guys don't want to do well. I think Cleveland State sped us up, certainly did a great job with their ball pressure and their toughness on the ball. They turned us over. They scored 27 points off our turnovers. So I think the biggest key for basketball players offensively is just read the defense, make the right play, find, create, keep the advantage. And when Brett does that, we're really good.
Sure, you mentioned this is it's been a long 6 months.
Yep.
And it continues. And maybe motivate may not be the right word, but how do you kind of keep the guys focused? I mean, not even focused, but how do you keep them?
Yeah, this is really what it comes down to. We're ranked the 20th best conference in America. At our level, this is what it's about. It really comes down to the final couple weeks of basketball. Everybody's going to be done playing, but one team. Nobody's going to the NIT. Maybe one team might decide to play in the CBI. I highly doubt it. So, you got 11 teams competing here the final 2 weeks of the season for number 1 positioning, but, really ultimately to go to the NCAA tournament. Everybody's a little bit nicked up. There's some bumps, there's some bruises. Everybody's, mentally pretty tired, right, after a long, grueling season. But to me, I think you got to be very, very motivated this time of year. As a senior, that's kind of how we recruit. We recruit a lot of older guys that know this is it. So we got to rise to the occasion, have good practices here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and understand like we're going on the road. It's going to be really hard to win those games. That's just life in college basketball. So, we've never been to the NCAA tournament as a group. We got a chance to win 20 games, right, for the first time in Division I history on back-to-back years. There's some real concrete stuff these guys can accomplish, but we got to have the good mindset. Can't hit the panic button based on the last game. Got to move on. Got to learn from it, certainly, Dana, but we have all the talent that we need.
I was going to touch on that. 64, 65 was the last time your program had back-to-back winning seasons, and that's
Yeah, and
59 years
And really, I look at it, this is first time ever, because that was Division II basketball. It's a totally different level. So to me, when we continue to talk about, records in the past, that we're a Division I program now. So it's the first time ever as far as I'm concerned.
Have you you're 2 games back, both with 3 to play. Obviously, it's 3 games with them having a tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's not over. It's certainly not over. The pressure's certainly on Green Bay and Oakland. There's no doubt about it, but I'm sure they want that pressure. Everybody'd like to have only 4 losses. So, we won't talk about it, Dana, but I think kids look at the standings. They know. Control what you can control, and you never know how the chips may fall.
But you won't openly.
We talk about standings. We talk about what top 4 seeds mean. If you're 1 through 4, you're not playing, till the quarterfinals. You're hosting a game. If you're 5 through 11, we'll get into that today just to educate, reaffirm what these games mean. But we won't really talk about winning a regular season title and things. No, we won't mention that.
You mentioned numerous times the scheduling. It's a different format compared to last year. Now that you're 90% through it, what would you like to see maybe?
Yeah, I think they really got it right on Wednesday, Saturday, but I think 1 home, 1 away. Moving forward, we got to figure out a way to do that. Our kids have missed 10 days of school. If we're fortunate enough to go to, actually with this week, it'll be 12 days of school already we've missed. I think we need to take that. To me, that's the number one thing, right? Why you go to college is to get a degree. So I think you're putting our players, not our players, but, all the players around this league at a major disadvantage academically. I think that needs to change. So if you're going to have 1 game on Wednesday on the road, you got to come home and you got to play a home game on Saturday. And if, teams don't have their buildings, we got to figure that out. Strategically, the athletic directors have to figure that out. I've been on a lot of these scheduling meetings and stuff, Dana. The one thing I'll tell you is Julie really listens. She gives a lot of, she wants feedback from her coaches. So, at the end of the year, I usually try to come up with a list of things that may help our league in scheduling or whatever I see, different things. And I think she's been awesome in that regard to communicate with.
You've been pretty outspoken about the regular season champion not going to the NIT if they don't win the conference. Is that universal amongst the coaches in this league?
I would think so. Most of the Power 5 guys, if you look at all these guys, they all started, at some point at the mid-major level. So I would venture to say a lot of the Power 5 guys agree. It's going to be interesting to see, what those NIT scores look like, what those environments look like once those games are played. I was at that level. Most Power 5 guys, it's NCAA or bust. Here at our level, you got to reward the regular season title. So I'd like for another tournament to appear, a mid-major type atmosphere. There's so many different things, ideas. I'd like to see somebody maybe take that into consideration and get the best mid-major teams from all the different conferences that won the regular season title, and try to get it somewhere that the teams will want to go. Take the MAC, take the Horizon League, the Sun Belt, the American East, the Northeast. There's plenty of good basketball teams I think that should still be playing. Because it's like, what are we really, rewarding for a regular season title? It's kind of really, really deterred my thought process on regular season titles, because you saw it last year at the NIT. It was awesome.
With the coaches, other coaches in the conference that you've spoken to, do they share the same feeling with regard to like the scheduling issues?
I talked to a few of them. I always try to talk to them, before the game for a quick minute, but we'll have a coaches meeting. I think we do about 3 or 4 of those a year, and I think that's, Neil, where you iron some of those loose ends up. But I'm sure they're feeling the same way I am as far as the academics, because, at the end of the day, we're held responsible as coaches. We are kind of the caretakers of the program to make sure our guys are graduating, right? So that's coming from, my boss, which is, Ron Strollo. But even above Ron is the NCAA and APR. right? So we've got to get those APR points to make sure that our program's in good standings where we are eligible for the NCAA tournament. So I think it's a responsibility of the league to address some of those issues as far as the academic, the number of days missed. And there could be more with Green Bay and Milwaukee because they're so far away. I can't imagine the number of days maybe they missed. But I know how our guys are constantly playing catch up, and I don't think it's fair to them.
Just from maybe not a game standpoint, but is this one of the toughest road trips just because you got to get on a plane, you got to go?
Yeah, we're going to charter, Dana, so it makes it really nice. Yeah, it's the one trip a year that I fundraise for. We have what's called the 6-man group. The Joe Mazzulla event helped raise over $100,000. A lot of the money that's in that 6-man account, goes to our players' treatment, whether that's massage therapy, obviously extra gear, extra meals. All the things that it takes to kind of run a program come out of that account. So we felt like with this turning around playing Wednesday, a quick turnaround, that we wanted to charter again. So we'll charter on Thursday out of Youngstown, which is awesome. It's not that long a flight. And then we'll be home Sunday night because typically you probably wouldn't be able to get out of there till Monday. And then you play Wednesday, and then after that the tournament starts. So whatever it costs, 25, 30 grand, I think it was well worth it. And our players have worked really hard, and I like to try to reward them with this trip as far as getting on a charter.
So it's not a charter trip, is it one of the toughest things?
I think these two teams are fabulous. I think both teams. I look at some of our other trips, though they've been tough too. When you're looking at a league that is as good as it is, like I hate to say it this year, almost every road trip is really tough. There's really nobody you're looking forward to saying, oh, we're going to go to again that arena and have some advantage. There's just not that. You don't see many road wins in this conference this year, but Milwaukee's playing for a top 4 seed and Green Bay's playing for a league title. So I can't imagine the crowds that we're going to see and the intensity. And, those were battles the first time. We lost at the buzzer and we won in overtime. So they're going to be high-level games. I would probably say it's at the top of the list. But I don't want to discredit Coach Campy or Wright State and Fort Wayne, things like that. I think the league is really good.